Please welcome ArcK.
With this project, I wanted to expand on my skills with needle felting, which is a type of 3D craft. So with needle felting, I started learning this process back when we were working on our animation puppet. So late last year, I really wanted to do needle felting so I could have this like texture contrast between like the fur, the clay antlers, and the fabric that I had going on with my puppet. So I went to one of my friends and asked, how does needle felting work? And they told me, you get the wool and you stab it with needles. So they gave me some supplies, and from there wasn't really a lot of research. It was pretty much just me exploring and figuring out stuff on my own. At some point, I have this needle felting kit, and it has so many different needles in it. And I was like, hey, are there different types of needles and different techniques I should be using? As it turns out, there are different types of needles, but within the like 40 different needles in my kit, they are all just the spiral one, I think. So I couldn't utilize different techniques with the different needles. It didn't apply to me. Oh well. But anyway, with needle felting, you go from a bunch of random clumps of wool, you stab it a bunch, and you end up with stuff like this, which is very cool. So, how do you get there? You make a lot of individual shapes first. The process that I like to do for this is I grab the wool and I felt it down so I have this kind of 2D strip. And with that, I'm able to roll it up into this tight ball so that when I go and then felt that, you get this really condensed shape that can then be like really structurally stable for the core of your project. So from that, I go and make a bunch of different shapes for the like limbs, the head for my project. You'll notice it looks really goofy and neon right now. What I'm doing is I'm using all of the kind of junk wool, essentially. I'm using the bright, coarser, less quality wool that I'm not going to use anywhere else in my project, just so that I have a stable core that I can then go and put color on top of. But before I have to put color, I have to actually refine the shapes itself, so that, again, requires stabbing the wool a bunch with needles. My animation class is very familiar with the sound of needles stabbing through wool. Yeah. After that, I have a higher quality, bunch of different colors of wool that I then felt on top of it. And then, at this point in the process, I kind of shifted my technique a bit. What I ended up doing was holding the needle as I stabbed it so that it could only go partially into my project. The reason for that is the needle is a lot longer than my project is wide, so when you stab through, the needle goes through, drags all of the wool, and brings it out the other side. You can see that happening with here, how the light wool appears on the back of the darker wool. That is not what you want happening when the inside of your project looks like this. So, I shifted my technique and worked around that obstacle. After that, in my kit, there is this tool. I do not know if it has a name. It is essentially a metal stick. You use it to stab a hole. And through that, I was able to then grab some of the eyes I have, put a bit of hot glue, and then put them inside my project. Yay! After that, and many hours later, I have a wonderful little craft. I had a lot of fun with this project, and I don't know if it's obvious, but this is actually my second ever needle felting project that I've ever finished in my life. Yeah, because that first one was just the animation puppet. I have very much been like self-driving my own learning and figuring stuff out along the way. And something that I find really valuable about teaching yourself creative skills is you kind of develop this mindset of perseverance, of overcoming obstacles, asking for help when you need it. And that sort of learning experience you can then take to anywhere else in your life, really. So it's something that I find very valuable. I also really like having a physical product. This is very fun. Yeah. Any questions?
It's always been, yeah, I sit right next to you for context, and it's always fun just, like, over my music, I can just hear But what's your little guy's name?
Oh, right, okay. This is one of my original characters named Soleil. For those that have seen my animation projects, you will probably recognize this character. I like to use my character designs in my projects a lot, it helps make the end product a lot more personal and meaningful to me, so very fun.
Did you end up making the lamp?
No, I did not end up making the lantern. I was going to make a lantern to go along with this, but I wanted to focus on just finishing the figure first. So,
What was the hardest element of the outfit or the body?
the hardest element I will say is probably the hooves. I don't know how visible it is, but like figuring out how to do this shape was really difficult, and I spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. I made like a shape, and then I used some of the wool cutters I have to kind of cut the clef in the hoof, and then felt more. So it took a while, but I did end up figuring something out in the end, so that was fun.
Do you think this is something you'll continue as a hobby?
Yeah, definitely. I figured out that I really like this craft form after doing my animation puppet, so I do really want to continue if I can. Mr. Flo?
Perhaps you should explore some of the other needles to make your work
Yes.
more efficient or
Yes.
interesting,
Wait.
right?
One of the things I was really hoping that I had is this reverse needle. Apparently, you can like when you take the needle out, it like brings some of the wool out with it, so you can end up with really fluffy projects. That would have been fun, but I don't have any. So.
Cool.
Yes.
How did you blend the different colors together?
So with the kit that I had, there was a lot of different colors of wool in there already. I ran into some problems when I realized that I didn't have enough of the wool that I wanted to use for, say, this coat, so that's why I did the darker wool underneath, because I had a lot of that. For the kind of fur skin color, I actually did not have that color, so I grabbed a bunch of different types of wool and just mixed it together a bunch. Brennan?
I just want to say I love that you took the time to make that little title slide with
Yes.
the tools.
It was very fun.
I think it's really
I actually took the photo and then I went into Photoshop real quick to play around with like multiply and overlay blend modes. Just make the contrast better. Anything else? Yes.
Sorry. I think it's really impressive that this is your second time
Yeah.
doing a puppet, and it looks awesome and amazing, and you were able to basically kind of pick it up almost immediately. I'm assuming. I wanted to ask, what was your favorite part of the process, or what was the most fun thing to?
What I really liked was when I just got to the point where I started adding the color on. I started with the head first, and then I got to the point where I can actually see what's going on, and I was like, whoa, this is possible. I can do this. And that's a point in the project where you just get filled with a lot of joy and just motivation to keep going.
So you're gonna animate this thing now?
This does not have a wireframe underneath. One of my original ideas was I really just wanted to make another animation puppet, and I did have the wire for that, but seeing the 2 weeks I had left, I thought it would be a more reasonable use of my time to just focus on the needle felt.
Thank you very much.